Welcome back guys, this is Gamer for Life, back with another tutorial in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Now it's been almost a year since I made my tutorial on how to do an auto landing in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 using the beautiful and powerful fly-by-wire mod, which is A320neo. Fly-by-wire's A320neo is an ever-evolving mod and it keeps getting powerful with each new update. Now with recent updates, there are very few minor but very important changes that flight simmers need to know in order to do an ILS landing. Now, so this has mandated another tutorial so that all of you can set up a flight for practicing and doing an ILS landing or an auto landing inside Microsoft Flight Simulator using the Fly-by-wire's A320neo. So that's the reason I'm making this tutorial, and from now onwards you should follow this tutorial if you want to do an ILS auto landing. So with that said, let's get on. So let's click on world map, and first things first, you need to click on this plane icon and then go to this drop down and choose airliners. From here you will get a list of all the airliners that are installed on your PC. I have the deluxe version, so I have the default airliners as well as I have this fly-by-wire simulations which I downloaded using their installer, Fly-by-wire's installer. So I'll click on this, and now because we want to set up for an auto landing, so we simply want to ignore this departure and we want to directly jump to arrival, and I want to do this auto landing at KJFK. So that's it, that is John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York. So let's click on this, and now with this you see the plane is going to be set up, you know, for in a position where it's going to land, and it will be lined up with the runway, but we'll have to do some configuration inside the plane, inside the cockpit, for us to be able to do an auto landing. So for that, let's choose a low altitude airways, and let's now choose our runway. So let's see what runway is the plane aligned by default. So it's 31 left, so I'll stick to this and we'll see if there's an ILS option for this runway. So let's see, ILS 31 left. So there it is, ILS 31 left. So let's choose this. So it wouldn't matter much, it's just that we know how it is going. So inside the FMC, the flight management computer in the fly-by-wire's cockpit, we'll need to do some configuration, but for us now, you know, this is important to know. So we need to make a note of this 31 left runway because we'll need to enter it in the FMC. So I'm just making a note of it on my second monitor's sticky note, and with that, you know, if you prefer, you can set the time of the day. So I just prefer early mornings, and I think we are good to go. So let's click on fly. So here we are inside the cockpit. So let me move the map to my other monitor, and first things first, let's click on active pause so that you are at peace. And now second thing, you see the throttle, the speed is increasing. So what you need to make sure, autopilot is on, auto thrust is on, and your thrust lever must be set to climb mode in order for your auto thrust to work properly. So I'm using my joystick to set my thrust levers to climb mode. So with that, you see the speed will be, you know, adjusting itself to whatever the configuration inside flight management computer is. So you see the heading is in the managed mode. Let's set it to engaged mode, or at least let's try if it works. Otherwise it doesn't really matter for us, because if you turn on the landing system information, we are expected to be aligned with the runway, which doesn't seem to be the case. And another reason for that is because our flight management computer is not perhaps aligned with our desired runway, which is 31 left that we chose. So we need to do that first. So let's go inside flight management computer, and let's go to init, and this is where you need to enter the airport. So our airport is KJFK. Yeah, so we can enter it both in to and from, doesn't really matter. So it's both KJFK. Let's enter it. That's it. Let's go to return. Let's clear out this message. So right, with that chosen, don't worry about any of these things, these don't really matter. Now let's go to flight plan, and here you see we have our airport, destination airport as KJFK. So let's click it, and let's go to arrivals, and here this is where we need to choose our runway. So let's go to ILS 31 left. Alright, let's choose this runway, and let's click on insert. Don't worry about the transition point, doesn't really matter. We want to be as straight as possible. Right on. So with that, now you see there is the localizer and the glide slope that is available, but you see there is something strange here, IMOH. So this is not the run the ILS frequency. So for that, what is the ILS frequency of the 31 left runway? So let's bring on the VFR map, which is on my other monitor. So remember, we are in active pause mode and we are at peace pretty much. We are lined up with the runway, but we want to do an auto landing for that. So let's go to our airport, and let's click on this KJFK. So what this will do, this will give you, if you scroll down to the bottom, there's a list of all the runways, and you see there's a frequency, ILS frequency mentioned. So this is what you need to note down, 111.35, which actually is working in this case. In case you do not see this frequency in here, what you need to do is you need to go to, let me pop it to side, and what we can do is just unlock this open button guard and click on nav, and then click on this ILS. So now this give us the option to enter the ILS frequency of your desired runway. Alright, so the ILS frequency is 111.35, although it's already there, but it has disappeared since we reset that. So let's set it up again. Alright, so let me make sure I'm selecting it again, and let's enter it. So it's for 31 left, it is 111.35. Let's do that first. So the bottom knob changes the figures on the left just before the decimal, and the top knob, if you hover over it and use your mouse wheel, so it will change the figures on the right to the decimal. So it's 0.35. So that's it. Now you need to click on this middle button, and now this will give you the frequency should appear here, but another thing that you need to enter is the CRS. So this is the CRS. So this is 314. So let's enter 314. Just using the top knob, you can use your mouse wheel to change this, and what you need to do, another thing is, if you do it on one side only, it won't work. So you have to do it on both the sides. So for both the pilots, it has to be identical. Alright, so let me do it on this side as well. So let's unguard this, let's click on nav, and let's click on ILS. That's it, it changes. Now again 111.35. So let's use the bottom knob first. So it's 111.35. Alright, let's see, nothing there as yet. Let's click on this, and there you see the frequency is there now. So just we need to make sure that we are entering the CRS as well, which is 314. Alright, so 314 on both the dials, and now it is there. So now your frequency is there. With that, now this will enable you to do the auto landing, and nothing should prevent you from turning on the localizer or the approach mode, because some of you mentioned it in comments of my previous video that you are, no matter what you do, you're not able to turn on the localizer or the approach button, and hence you're not able to do the auto landing. So this is what you need to do. Now let me move this VFR map to the next side, and let's see before landing preparation. So since we chose the plane in a configuration where it's supposed to do a landing, so all the things are already configured. So landing gear is down, auto brake is set to medium, and flaps are set to full, and speed brakes are engaged. And with that, I think things are looking pretty good, and our landing system is turned on. So I think our glide slope is going to be aligned soon, while our localizer is already aligned. So let me make sure that everything is in managed mode, or engaged mode rather. So you see, with that, our heading is also in engaged mode. So the autopilot is taking care of the altitude as well as the heading mode. And now here you will see some changes. So our thrust leader, levers, and everything is all set. So let's now unpause or get out of active pause and see how our plane is moving. And let's turn on the localizer. So you see localizer already captured. Let's turn on the approach mode, and you see
2,500.
See what is happening. We were already descending. So what I've done, I've engaged the I've switched the engage mode for the altitude, and now the plane is starting to climb. So this is important, that we need to be at a certain altitude to be able to capture the glide slope. So you see we are still on altitude, but we are in the phase of capturing glide slope, and glide slope has been capturing. Now the plane will start descending, and the speed will be managed on its own. And I think now we are fully set up to do an auto landing. Only thing we need to do is, just when we are getting closer to the runway, we need to engage the autopilot 2 as well, and the rest will be taken care by the Fly-by-Wire's A320 itself. So nothing much to do, just wait and watch. I just love to do a sunset landing. So let's go to weather tab, and let's see if we can change and we can bring the sun just in front of us. Is it gonna be a sunset landing? Looks like we will be able to. So that is absolutely stunning. So let me keep it that way, and let's wait for our plane to get closer to the runway before we turn on autopilot 2. We are about almost 1,000 feet above the runway, and we can engage autopilot 2. So you see it shows Cat 3 dual message here, and both these glide slope and localizer messages should switch to land as we get closer to the runway. And before that we should see a message, and after that we should see a message of flare, or just one before other, both should appear. So
500.
almost getting there. Message should change soon. So
400.
you see land has appeared. So this just gives us assurance that we are going to do an auto landing.
300. 200.
Don't forget to enjoy the scenery.
100.
And it should say now flare.
50,
Yes, it is.
40, 30, 20, 10. Retard.
So I'm just retarding now.
Retard.
I
Retard.
will engage reverse thrust. And I think we are good enough now. Let's set it back to 0. So I haven't touched anything yet. Still it is an autopilot mode. So this was a brief and short and quick tutorial on how to do an ILS auto landing. It's an update to our previous tutorial, and I just wanted to point out some few changes that our Fly-by-Wire A320neo mod has introduced, so just that you are not in trouble when you're practicing an ILS or auto landing. So that's it for this video, guys. Do give it a like if you like it, and consider subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you in my next tutorial. See you. Bye bye.